Lakini genge hiyo term ni watu wengi.
Watu wengi kweli, yeah. Yeah.
So kama ulitamee na sakle mtu justify aje hiyo jina, yani genge aje akasema guys, si mmeanza perform, mmetoa manzi wa Nairobi, mnaona vile watu wana react hapa nje, mkienda mashosi mnajaza. Si hao ni watu, music for the masses.
And I think, like as we speak right now, we do have Nonini who's live on the line. He was not able to make it to the studio, but we still have Nonini Mgenge True. For those who may be living under a rock and still don't know who Nonini is. Nonini is.
Should we introduce him?
Yes. I mean, I'm just gonna quickly say, I'm gonna let him introduce himself, but I'm just gonna quickly say he's one of the founders, or one of the godfathers of the Genge genre of music. And I want to welcome Nonini. Nonini, can you hear us?
Yes, I nawasikia mzee, mko fiti?
Tuko poa. Karibu sana Nonini. We are very glad to have you here. Now, you've been in this Genge game for more than 20 years. Now, this announcement from the Recording Academy to add Genge at a personal level, Nonini, what does this mean for you at a personal level? Let's start from there. Nonini.
This is the biggest win. This is the biggest win of the dream that we had ever since we came out into the industry 20 years ago. Si wote yani kutoka Calif, mali muziki yetu tu ya urban ilianzia hii ya kizazi kipya. So our dream was always to have a genre that defines Kenyan music, but not the whole of Kenyan music. Of course, there was Benga, but there was that young pop music that we came up with, that we created our own space with. We needed a name for that kind of music, and for it to be in that level right now, oh my God, it's so surreal. Let us see a meaning.
Okay, Nonini, just give us a brief background, on where Genge came from, where it started, maybe who founded it, because there's a lot of theories, about that. Na kuna story nyingi, hekaya za Bunuasi, visa vya Alfulela Ulela. Sasa tunataka kusikia from the source, where did Genge come from and where did it start? For those who are not familiar.
I'm sure I didn't come from Umo. Andrea.
Oh, definitely not Umoja.
It's also story mingi, man. Unless you don't know Kenyan music history, I don't think anybody is confused. Everybody who actually knows Kenyan music and knows my music and knows that urban pop music that revolutionized the industry knows exactly where Genge came from. Genge ilianzia California. Genge ilianzia California, mtaa yetu mali tulizaliwa. Mimi, Jua Kali, Clemo, Mahatma, we were born in Calif, and then where Calif Records started, that's where Genge started. Genge actually ilianza kwa living room. Ilianza kwa living room ya kina Clemo. That's why we used to record our music. We didn't have money to build studios. We didn't have money to go to the big studios in Nairobi those times. Wajua za kina Ted, za kina Bruce Odhiambo. We built our own studios. It was like bedroom studios. And the whole industry started doing music in bedroom studios. So Genge started there. Now Genge was coined by Clemo. It was a discussion kwa tumeka tu kwa living room tunabonga, because we used to get mad manze. Mimi kwa nachukia ngoma zetu zinaitwa local, tunaenda radio station kama saizi venye tuko OneMicShow. Here's another, we're being joined by another local artist called Nonini, and another local artist called Jua Local. Quality Changa. I used to hate that name. Or either if they're not calling it local, they were calling it just Kenyan music. We have a hot Kenyan song out. It's the Kenyan music that is out. Ikwe nameless, ikwe nani. There was no name for our urban music at that time. Hizi muziki zote watu uzipendaga na zitaga TBT. There was no name. So that used to like rub us the wrong way. So siku moja tumekaa tu kwa living room, Clemo akasema manze, hii ngoma lazima tuipatie jina. Tukamwambia but tutaitaje, because bongo flavor was already there. Like we grew up listening to bongo flavor, kina Gangwe Mob, those guys from way back, kina Professor J. Tulikuwa nasikia bongo flavor, tunashindwa muziki gani inaitwa bongo flavor, ina jina, tunajua ni muziki ya TZ. Sasa tukijiuliza sisi ngoma zetu zinaitwaje, hazina jina. Hiyo kitu ikaanza kutusumbua. And then kina what's their name, the guys from South Africa, TKZ, and those guys, ule Brenda Fassi, tunaanza kusikia kuna muziki ya South inaitwa Kwaito. Man, si tunahitaji mziki yetu. Of course kuna hip hop, Kalamashaka were doing hip hop. Of course there was Kina Hardstone. They came out with the first, they were the first generation of this urban music. They came out even before us, but that music had no name. So tuhitaji mziki. So tukadecide Clemoka siku moja throw words kwa studio. And then all of a sudden he just said, because tulikuwa wengi kwa living room, akasema genge. Kila mtu akamwambia what? Hiyo nini umesema? Akasema genge. Tukamwambia why? Akasema genge, unajua ile genge la watu wengi wenye meka hapa kwa living, genge la watu, genge la majambazi, genge la watu. Yani ni kama watu wengi wageni. Kiswahili I think Ali unaweza ni correct.
Yeah.
But ni watu wengi
sana ni genge la wezi.
Sasa lakini genge hiyo term ni watu wengi
kweli yeah. Yeah.
So kama uligame na sakle mtu justify aje hiyo jina, yani genge aje? Akasema guys, si mmeanza perform, mmetoa manzi wa Nairobi, mnaona vile watu wana react hapa nje, mkienda mashosi mnajaza, si hao ni watu, music for the masses.
Okay.
Kuisha.
Safi sana. So how, when it came up, when your genge ili come up, was the idea, like to have that term for Caliph? Because right now, today, as we know it in Kenya, genge is mostly identified with that music that came from Caliph. But the original idea for that term, was it meant just to cover that California music, ama was it for overall Kenyan music? Because you've been talking about Kenyan music. So ilikuwa ni cover ngoma zote za Kenya, kama vile bongo flavor ime cover yani most of the muziki ambayo inatoka Tanzania. So what was the original idea, or what was the original goal? Nonini.
Exactly. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa idea, Ali. We came up with it so that it becomes the name of Kenyan music, the Kenyan urban pop music. Let me not say Kenyan music, because Kenya tukuna different genres. Ohangla is a genre. Our traditional and our mother tongue, they have genre. But the urban pop music, we wanted it to be called genge. And that was our contribution to the industry, because we felt we were players. Tumeanza kutoa mziki, tumeanza kujulikana. There's a studio called Caliph Records, there's a studio called Ogopa. We are contributors, we are shareholders. So tukasema, wacha tuambie watu jamani aje, tuiteni hizi mziki genge. Now the reason why today the genge is still associated to Caliph is because the whole of the industry fought back. Remember your time, there was a lot of competition. Like we used to chomoa music, Ogopa chomoa's music, hip hop guys chomoa music. There was a lot of competition which brought a very, very vibrant industry. But due to that competition also, anything that comes out from whichever stable was being hit back. So yeah, we tried to push it, manze, push for years. Tunaambia tu genge, wasanii wanakataa. And then unajua sasa hiyo time, if I may paint the picture, we never knew each other. Like we were not friends, as in tulikuwa kina nameless used to hear guys from Caliph. These young kids, man, from Eastland, they're coming up with a style. Hey, Ogopa was like the number one ruling, they're ruling the airwaves. They're on TV, they're on radio, they're being played in clubs. Then these guys came to disturb the peace from Caliph. So everybody was like, who are these guys? So kwanza hawaku receive vizuri until we were accepted. When we were accepted by guys, that's when everybody now, okay, fine. There's nothing you can do about it because washakubalika. So you'd rather just be their friends. Then sasa urafiki ukaanzia hapo. Lakini initially sisi tulikuwa naonekana kama vijana wa Caliph Eastlands, ni nani? Kwanza uko na studio bedroom, because everybody had the massive studios. They had the 16 24 track channels, those mixers. Man, unaingia studio kuna lighting. These kids were recording from the bedroom. Are you kidding me? Everybody was hating on that. So anything we're trying to bring to the industry, it was being pushed back. At some point, Pinye decided. Pinye had the biggest show in Kenya on NTV. It was called The Beat.
The Beat.
Like if anybody knows about The Beat, man,
Yes.
hapo ndio mziki ilipushiwa mziki ya Kenya sana. At some point, Pinye took it upon himself. Let me try and push this thing. He tried to call The Beat Genge. One day people woke up and the logo of The Beat was Genge. Woy. The biggest mistake he ever did. Vita Pinya lipigwa. Woy. From Wadosi, watu wamepiga masimu. How are you calling that show Genge? Our music is not Genge. Genge ni watu wa Caliph. You get? So that's how now it was associated with Caliph, because everybody rejected the name. But we were trying to contribute it to the industry so that it becomes the bongo flavor of our country.